Okay, everyone. Good morning. This is Tim. How you doing today? Today is Tuesday, the 22nd. This is overall infrared satellite loop showing the convection and different things in the atmosphere. This is basically the higher, colder cloud tops are in red and orange and black, and the we don't see colors is like a convection and drier air. Anyway, we have our tropical disturbance out here, and we have one coming off the coast of Africa right now. This one here is expected to keep moving this way, but it's not expected to develop. We have a front right across the kind of bisecting the North Carolina area, and there's forecast to be a low pressure system developed along the front there and push south and east. As of right now, it's not expected to develop anything tropical. What the impacts from this will be more than likely just increased precipitation in the coming days. Um, and I'll go over that in the forecast as well. But also, we have some monsoonal flow coming up and around. This is not uncommon this time of year, but also coming around the middle part of the country in the upper Midwest, high plains, leading to increased convective activity, severe weather, flooding, things like that. So as I get rid of this, I'm going to move to the water vapor loop real quick. You can see all the dry air. This is kind of the yellow area here. That's dry air in the upper levels. Then you look at the mid levels, which is where they often look for tropical. If the mid levels are dry, the tropical systems really have a lot of trouble getting going. So you can see a lot of dry air to the north in the tropical Atlantic here. Quite a bit of a lot of upper level features. You have upper level, mid level low right here. Another mid or upper level low or central Texas, and you see the upper level high in this area here. The flow around it. This upper level trough here, the flow coming this way. This is leading to some air coming this way, also this way from the northwest, and the moisture interacting with the stationary boundary that's going to be going this way is going to bring more moisture to our area today and through a good part of the week. As far as the northern high plains up in the Midwest, this rainy pattern is going to continue. Severe weather chances each day, maybe shifting to the east some. You see a progressive upper level pattern this way. See the jet stream going like that. So this gives you a general idea of the flow. When this, again, this monsoon, called the monsoon season, convection comes off the mountains here, flows up this way into the high terrain, and they get rain this time of year. Right now, that's about it for this part. I'm going to go over the local forecast real quickly, show you the future radar, and I'm going to briefly go over the tropics. Warner Robins area, middle Georgia, high of 97 today, 50% chance of rain. Tomorrow, it's going to be more likely to be rainy and a little bit cooler tomorrow, a high over 90. And today there is a a higher chance of some severe thunderstorms. And we go through the time here, 70% chance. You see that high temperatures are modulated by the amount of precipitation. It gets hot again, starts getting hotter on the weekend with, with a smaller chance of precipitation as we go towards the weekend. Sunny, hot, 97, 96, with lower chances as we get through to next Monday. So overall, just rainy for the next couple of days. A lot more clouds and which will modulate the high temps, but then again, getting back hot again towards the end of the week. It remains disorganized according to the National Hurricane Center. Now they're not expecting to develop at all. They're going to come out with a new outlook 8 a.m. and maybe they'll highlight an area off the coast of Africa development and maybe in the Gulf of Mexico on the East Coast. And according to the NOAA here, they have a probability of something developing in the next 48 hours off the East Coast of the U.S. And they've had this for several days now where they're thinking something develop a low pressure system, but I think it's going to be tied to a frontal boundary, so it's not going to be truly tropical. If we look at the quickly look at some ensemble output and what the AI models think, they do depict a low pressure system moving into the Gulf of Mexico now, and that's the European high-res model. But overall, see the different dots here. You got European ensembles, high-res. These are different experimental models, next-gen models, and graph models that Google has. As we get further out in time, you're talking 13 days now. This really becomes unpredictable, but in the short term, I'm not sure. They do pick up on a low off the coast of Africa, but it doesn't ever develop. It probably runs into dry air eventually. Not too short order. The tropical West Pacific remains active. As far as the Atlantic goes, there's still not a lot of signals for anything really strong. Maybe a low pressure system developed in the Gulf of Mexico, but the biggest impacts would be rain. That's about it. So the tropics, it's really not a lot to talk about. Real quickly, I'm going to go over the future radar from the for the next 18 hours to see, so I can show you all where the models think the highest preset will be in the next 18 hours. For the short term, I just want to show temperatures real quick. Obviously, it's really hot and cool. It's nice and cool in the Northeast right now. 70s, 80s. Over time, though, temps are going to increase as the heat shifts to the east. You can see what's happening here. On the upper Midwest, it cools off some. And then as we get through the end of the period, we can see the temps. Oops. Still pretty hot. Let's keep going here. See how it cools off all on the northern tier. I'm hopeful this is signaling at least a short-term pattern change. With especially cool temperatures, at least in the northern tier and along the east coast, maybe with in the southeast, maybe with a wedge developing. So Real quickly, I'm going to go over the radar um, the next several hours. So we have that low pressure maybe developing off the coast here. Kind of meandering around along the interesting. This model isn't showing a heck of a lot of precip associated with it, although I'm going to zoom in to the local area here, take a look, see what the model shows. Most precip looks like it's going to be along the east coast, southeast coast. I'm going to try to go back to the 48 hours out and go through it here. Go through time. Precip is pretty spotty still. I'm not sure. Either this model isn't picking up on precip, or National Weather Service is way off, one or the other. I have to keep an eye on the forecast today, see how it goes. If you look at total precip, this model is projecting this is through July 23rd. Interesting. Not showing a lot of precip in the next 48 hours. East of Middle Georgia, more along the Gulf Coast, east coast of the U.S., and in Florida. So we'll just have to see how that plays out, but that's what the model says right now. And next, I'm going to move on to the other parts of my video where I talk about upper level pattern and severe weather chances and excessive rainfall in the coming days. This is the day one categorical outlook. You see here we have 10 to 15% risk, slight risk. Parts of Montana, South, East, North Dakota, Northern South Dakota, much of Minnesota with a large marginal risk, extending Montana, most of the rest of North Dakota, Nebraska, Northeast Wyoming, Iowa, Wisconsin, marginal risk down in Georgia, and a lot of area, just general thunderstorms. This is mostly driven by wind threat, especially up here in northern tier. You have 5% and then a 50% slight with 10% hatched, which it means, of course, that there's a 10% or greater risk of significant winds within 25 miles of a point. Same thing goes for hail. Kind of like in a little bit of a different area, but same general area where you have the same significant hail risk, 2 inches or more in diameter, larger in diameter within 25 miles of a point. So for tomorrow, categorical risk moves to the east. So you have a little bit into northeast Nebraska, northwest Iowa, south of Minnesota, parts of Wisconsin, marginal risk surrounding it into more Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, more Minnesota, Marginal risk along the front range of the Rockies. Likely hail risk right there. And general thunderstorms otherwise. Tornado. 2% tornado risk up towards Wisconsin, Minnesota. Wind risk 15% in the same areas we talked about, where the slight risk was 5% surrounding it, and there's a 5% risk of winds over 50 knots within 25 miles of the point. Hail on the front range of the Rockies, northeast Wyoming, southeast Wyoming, and northern Colorado. Day 3, categorical only. Marginal risk moves into Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa. With general thunderstorms otherwise across a good portion of the U.S. In the southeast is driven by that system moving southwestward towards the Gulf. Otherwise, just general thunderstorms. As far as excessive rainfall in the coming days, right now we have a slight risk in northern Kansas. This is up to 12Z today. Middle Tennessee Valley, extreme northwest Georgia, a large marginal risk of parts of Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, rest of almost all of Kansas, north, pretty much the western quarter of Texas, most of New Mexico, and parts of Arizona, with a slight another marginal risk way out, right on the eastern edge of the Cascades here, eastern Oregon, extreme western Idaho. Day 2, which is actually probably today at 8 a.m. Slight risk, excessive rainfall off the South Carolina coast, parts of northeast Georgia coastline, marginal risk, rest of Georgia, South Carolina, right along the downslope of the Appalachians in North Carolina, all of Florida, New Mexico, Arizona, slight risk. This is due to the monsoon picking up. Not uncommon this time of year. Large marginal risk, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, parts of Montana, and central Minnesota, most of Minnesota, slight risk, parts of Wisconsin and North Dakota. So day 3, which is, I think this will be tomorrow. Threat for heavy rainfall moves south, marginal risk in southern Georgia, central southern Georgia, and northern 2/3 of Florida, all along the front range of the Rockies, all the way up into the in an arc, all the way up to South Dakota, Minnesota, with a slight risk up into northern Wisconsin, up in UP, Michigan, all the way on to the Canadian border. Day 4, marginal risk in North Dakota, parts of North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, large swath from the Ohio Valley to the northeast quarter, parts of the Mid-Atlantic, and along the Gulf Coast, with that moisture swinging around. A5. It's like that doesn't change much, does it? Pretty much marginal risk in all the same areas. So what's driving our weather in coming days? This is our mid-level flow, and we start off today with the European 00Z run. This runs every 6 hours or so. Anyway, move forward. Move forward in time. This high pressure that's been dominating our weather stays there in the same area, although it's just a little bit further east in time, with the general troughiness remaining off the west coast, with the center of the upper level high off the east coast of the U.S. General troughiness remains over the west coast and actually amplifies some over time, and the high pressure system again reestablishes itself over the central U.S., which of course that only means one thing: more hot temperatures. And northwest flow starts to develop over the eastern part of the country, and that flow will continue to develop over time with a sort of short wave embedded in the flow moving on to the west coast there. And you can see towards the end of the period here, there's an intense low pressure system developing in the Canadian provinces, which, if this comes to pass, we could really be in for some severe weather in the northeast and really cooler temps for a little while. The flow is coming straight out of the north here, right into the east coast. We go to the highest level jet stream. You can see this is the highest level atmosphere we tend to look at, way up there, like 30,000 feet. Really extreme low here, 94 knots, 100 knots. This is your jet stream. That's where your strongest winds normally are, 200 millibars. Looks like you have an upper level low centered over Mexico, with a high pressure system being kind of pushed to the south, kind of flattened out here, especially along the east coast. This jet stream flow intensifies, and in this kind of pattern, I'd like to move to what the models are looking at as far as precip goes. Go back in time here. As we go through time, see the system maybe around in the Gulf Coast. It looks to be a front maybe trying to push through the northeast. Maybe a low pressure developing off the coast there. And then, of course, you could have a low form along the, you can see the height lines here. This is the 540 line, which is the freezing line at this surface, which is interesting. It's not that far. You see how far south it's going here? That's pretty cold temperatures for this time of year at the surface. That's 32 degrees. If we look at temperatures, what the model is estimating to be, that's really nice, to be honest with you. I mean, think about 31st, nice and almost fall-like temperatures in the northeast and northern tier. The rest of the country is still suffering with the heat. And we can look at the dew point forecast. Dew points in the 50s. Move further south, 40s. This is just a long range, 10 days. Go back to the temps again. 70s, 80s forecast. Definitely cooling off for a good portion of the United States, except for the southern tier, by the 2nd of August. Go for it in time a little more. This is really long range, but you see temps cool off again in the northeast. So overall, towards the end of the period, this is quite a ways out, but the general trend is for it to cool off some in most of the U.S. Although, you know, out in Texas, you're not going to get much of a break.